Have you seen your subreddit? No, what now? What now? I check the sub pretty frequently. What now? What now? Okay, let's find out what we're mad about today. Real quick. As someone who's actually from Lebanon, Vaush needs to up their education about Lebanon, Hezbollah, or zip it. Last couple of segments, Vaush talked about Lebanon. It's more specifically Hezbollah. Made me want to bang my head against the wall. They're not an Iranian IRGC proxy, acting their own interest, majority of Lebanese people. I'm so sorry. I had stupid things like Iran. No, like, fuck, are you retarded? No, from all the... Wait, I can't make fun of them for their bad English because they're in Lebanon. Fuck. It seems like a misunderstanding of what I said. Hezbollah became a liability on our people and cause and an asset for Israel? How can you possibly believe that? How can you believe that when Hezbollah is literally the only group in Lebanon capable of resisting Israel? By what possible... Like, Israel has tried and failed to invade Lebanon. How... I think they mean optics-wise? Okay, that's like saying the French resistance was a Nazi asset because it furthered the Nazi rhetoric that they had to crack down on internal dissidents. Hezbollah serves as another reason for invasion. My brother in Christ, Hezbollah was formed because Israel invaded Lebanon. They want to invade Lebanon for ethnic, religious reasons. Like, what do you mean? What, like, we're doing... What are we doing here? That's like saying that Ukraine rearming was like a bait for Russia to invade them or something. Here, I'll read the actual thing. Iranian theocracy, some of these... So why is leftism supposed to support one imperialist power over the other? Lesser of two evils, my ass. Hezbollah and the whole acts of resistance, both strategic stupidity, religious delusions, value free. It's a little bit hard to parse this. Yeah, it's difficult. It seems like this person just doesn't like Hezbollah, which is fine. I don't know if that has to do with my position, though. I'll read it in my own time, I guess. About the Rape Academy segment and the misinfo spread about. It was wild to me a lot of lefty/liberal influencers, some of whom I genuinely looked up to, ran with the idea the Motherless website wasn't a general porn website, or that actually 63 million men just attended a rape academy. The rhetoric on this one was pretty crazy, but also keep in mind, it wasn't lefty liberal influencers, the mainstream media. Like, we watched news segments from actual reporters claiming that there were tens of millions of people attending a rape academy. So, like, not to say they shouldn't have run with the misinformation there, but the heart of the misinfo was definitely not from the libs or lefties online. It was a highly sensationalist claim published by legitimate news organizations, at least to the extent that any news organization can be legitimate these days. Reason the bridges between Vaush, Hassan, and Destiny will never be repaired. Is there a reason you and Hassan don't interact? Yeah, one time we were walking past each other at TwitchCon, and I shoulder checked him, and he stumbled, and he looked like a bitch. He was super embarrassed about it. Everyone could tell because his Twitch live feed, his like live stream camera, it like shuddered, you know? But ever since then, it's been like, it's, and I understand it, you know? Yeah, I get it. I believe that without question. I choose to believe this, yeah? I've never been to TwitchCon. It's true, though. It did happen at TwitchCon. Why don't we like Destiny? I was walking past him at TwitchCon, and I shoulder checked him, and ever since then, things haven't been the same. Harris's national security advisor wrote a whole book on why intervening in Iran is a horrible idea. No, we're still doing this. Ah! Ah! We're never going to be free. The crazy thing to me is that, like, some people's arguments against me have actually taken the form of them saying, well, have you noticed that Harris is condemning Trump's war in Iran? Like, oh, wow, that's crazy, man. Really? A politician condemns a bad thing when their opposition does it, but they would do the same themselves? When has that ever happened? Why are these people so bad faith, man? Yeah, but did you see that clip of the guy who was like an energy security advisor to Biden saying that the first targeted strike against Iran a year ago may have been justified? It was in the tabs, dude. Why are people so unwilling to... Hold on. I have to check the post history. No, sorry, it's a homegrown retard. Why are people so... Oh my god, this person won't stop posting. This is all from the past 25, 6, 7 hours. 6, 7. Holy shit. I'm not going to convince these people, man. I can't, like, warp into a different timeline to prove that, you know, Harris would have been hawkish on Iran as well. And I feel like the bar is really moved, too, where, like, the defense a lot of these people provide is, like, well, Harris would have done this less stupid or something. Is that the win for you? Like, if Kamala Harris had done strikes against Iran, but it hadn't led to a global energy crisis, would that be like a victory for you? Like, oh, she furthered the continued state of instability in the Middle East, getting us involved in a conflict for Israel, but like she did it more competently. Would that be like a win? I don't get it, man. For those libs, yeah. I feel like that's the implicit point for a lot of them. See, we are scolding the libs again. I mean, in fairness, man. In fairness. As always, progressive victory being based. Thank you, Dylan Burns. Announcement, PV endorsement process, TLER, effective immediately. No candidates will receive any endorsement from PV during a primary unless they're committed to defending Ukraine against Russia's imperial occupation by providing humanitarian defense of Ukraine. That sounds good to me, yeah. Unfortunately, like, the big motivating animus lately has been anti-Israel, which has brought out a lot of attention from the, that section of the online left. But it's important to remember that Russia is basically just a big cold Israel, right? Yeah, Russia, or as I know it, like the northern Israel. You have to, if you've lost the plot if you're like, no, I'm against Israel's deception, attempts to influence the American political process, ethno-nationalist land grabs and fascist government, but I'm in favor of Russia doing all of those things. Now, has Russia racked up the kill count that Israel has lately? I don't know. We don't really have clear numbers, but I think that any giant civilian kill count motivated by, fascist territorial acquisition and ethno-nationalism are probably pretty bad, in my opinion. Probably pretty bad, in my opinion, yeah. Russia's killed like 2 million Ukrainians. I don't think it's 2 million. I think it's a big number. 2 million would surprise me, but it's okay. Again, we don't have to compare two bad bitches, All right, I caught up in the Reddit. Hezbollah is hated in Lebanon. Where's Vaush and they aren't? Only a small number of Christians, Sunnis, Druze, mostly under 10-15%. Support Hezbollah. 86 opposed direct conflict with Israel. Okay, but Hezbollah was created because Israel invaded. Israel invaded before Hezbollah existed. Only Shia Muslims, around 70%, support them. Okay. Percent of Lebanon, Shia Muslims. About 30% of the population. The broader population is like 65 to 70% Muslim. Lebanon religion map. Aren't the Shia Muslims mostly in the parts of Lebanon that are controlled by Hezbollah anyway? Yeah. These areas down here, Shia Muslim. Well, I said that represent the interests of the people there. You got to be really careful when you say stuff, man. The point that I was making with Hezbollah was that they don't exist as a proxy of Iran in the sense that they wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Iran. Like, Israel invaded them. They are made up largely of Lebanese people operating in a otherwise pretty lawless area, defending themselves against Israeli occupation and, threats of future occupation. In that respect, they are a legitimate exercise of the regional interests of those people. A good contrast would be like the separatist campaign in the Donbass in Ukraine was almost entirely manufactured, right? Like you had like some legitimate separationist sentiment from the region, but overwhelmingly the base of support and the military backing for the 2014 invasion that was, disguised as like an internal revolt, was from Russia, right? It wasn't like that region did that on its own, whereas Lebanon very much didn't want to be invaded by Israel on its own. You get me. Most North Irish didn't like the IRA either. That's true. That's true. I think. I don't remember the last time I've Googled that information, but I think that's true, yeah. The IRA was not, like, super popular. Anyway, you say that. Sometimes people are like, you think Hezbollah is good. And I'm like, well, do I think it's better than Israel? Yes. Do I think it's good? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. The separatist campaign was not entirely manufactured. It was very highly manufactured. Like, there was a sentiment there, but the Donbass would have never, like, rebelled and created their own, like, microstate on their own. That was something, like, Russia had to completely front that, essentially. Whereas, obviously, like, Israel invaded Lebanon, so I guess it's just a matter of how astroturfed it is. I don't think the people of southern Lebanon had to be astroturfed that hard into the idea that it was bad for Israel to invade them. You know what I mean? Probably like more so in eastern Ukraine, in my opinion. What do I know? All right, is anyone else mad at me on the Reddit? He has a habit of making broad sweeping statements about things that he doesn't know a lot about just based on his own intuition. Funnily enough, that itself is a broad sweeping statement. It's also like unfalsifiable because you could say this about literally anyone. It's not usually that useful. It's true that in the many topics we touch on stream, I don't engage with every single one of them with a degree of sort of scholastic expertise that you might get if you followed somebody who spoke exclusively on that subject. But you know, I stand by the statement I made. Can't even yap nowadays. Yeah, that's the problem, man. If you're someone like Northern Lion, you're just yapping about movies or whatever, no one's coming after you. That's probably not true. People come after him pretty often on his movie takes. Anyway, to get back to my point, Hezbollah is universally beloved, and nobody has a problem with them. What are your favorite movies? Fight Club. I think it's really deep and it says a lot about society. All right, let's move on. New Reddit post from 2 hours ago. Grand Regent Vaush, please enact another lib purge, I beg of you. This community has been absolutely infested with liberals lately who seem more preoccupied with arguing with everything Vaush says, arguing in favor of J Stream points, NAFO buddies, playing defense for Kamala Dems. It's insane. Oh, great Vaush, please purge us. You have to purge yourselves, okay? You can't get the mods to... I listen, I know it's a lot of it's like r/Destiny brigading, but you can't... I mean, maybe not brigading, but like adjacency, overlapping, Venn diagramming. You have to do the work yourself sometimes, okay? If they're annoying, you have to downvote them. Type shit. Isn't it good this community isn't a hive mind, can actually argue about stuff? Nope! No, I would no more want to argue every day with liberals who unironically think J Street is good than I would want to argue every day with people who think rape should be legal, you know? There are ranges of acceptable and unacceptable disagreement. Like, these are very well-trodden arguments, you know? The sub deletes everything that's not directly involving Vaush? Yeah, you have to, otherwise it turns into like a generic lefty sub where every post is just, here's a thing that happened. Yes, it should... The subreddit should in fact be made up of people who watch me in the Vaush subreddit. You know, that is important, I think. That being said, the liberals are in fact insufferable. I don't trust anyone who overly focuses on liberals to purge because they aren't socialist enough for your liking. And who's to say they don't consider themselves socialist but have contradictory, inconsistent opinions? I can't talk at all, but that's okay because the point still comes across anyway. You want to purge the liberals? What happened to freedom of speech? Da 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 da. Boring, boring, boring. The problem is a lot of these people take themselves too seriously, you know? You can't do that as the streamer unless you want to get absolutely fucking roasted and also be miserable all the time. But a lot of times the people in the comment section, they take it a lot more seriously. Not to say politics shouldn't be taken seriously, but they take the like broader narrative of the community more seriously than the streamer can. You have to have a little bit of a sense of humor about it. Otherwise people go fucking crazy, man. People go crazy. Eesh. 2 hours ago. Hey, Vaush. Hey, everyone. I'm a new Vaush supporter. I just found the subreddit. Why is his sub so liberal? We get some real content. Has Vaush talked about Slay the Spire 2? Yeah, it's fucking goated, is what it is. Yeah, I have. Vaush has grabbed me by the balls in many such cases. Vaush is right. The neo-Nazi to femboy pipeline remains undefeated. Oof. Man. That's crazy. Yikes. It's all psychosexuality with these people, man. Tragic but common story. Maybe one day, God willing, femboy as like an archetype won't be completely dominated by like 4chan neo-Nazi. That'd be pretty cool. Underage mentally ill. Well, a lot of them are groomed. It's just a porn category and nothing else. I wouldn't say nothing else. It's largely one of those. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. But a lot of them are groomed. It's not really their fault. I mean, nothing's anybody's fault, I guess. Type shit. Hearing femboy is a porn category really doesn't inspire me to want to dress femme publicly. A couple of pointers here. For one, a guy dressing femme is not... Like, femboy is a very specific archetype. aesthetically, fashion-wise, and in the common culture, in the sort of public consensus, which does not reflect negatively on every time a guy dresses in a feminine fashion. Of course, there is overlap, but a lot of that overlap is from people who are not your ally to begin with, right? Like the kind of person who's pro femboy and calls trans women traps or whatever is probably not going to be like a good advocate for your right to wear feminine clothing in public. You know, they're probably not the greatest allies out there. I meant in the cutesy femboy way. Well, you can go out there and not be a statistic, right? It's not about, you know, you specifically. It's just that there is a anime adjacent obsession with femboy as an archetype in a community online, and that community is like very incel and Nazi driven. And there are Discord servers where they find and groom people into being neo-Nazis / femboys, and it's all very pedophilic and it's bad, but you know, you can break the mold. Break those chains. Go on out there, you know? Just don't wear no goddamn polyester skirts and you'll be okay. Programmer socks are fine though. I've seen a lot of leftists still use the term trap for trans people. I have not seen that in so long. Like a well-meaning person using trap to describe trans people. I have not heard that in so long. I'm not saying you haven't. I'm just saying like that sounds crazy to me. You know, that sounds crazy to me. They've got to be like really young. Are you 5? It's got to be. Yeah, that's like 2016 era, you know? Very, very different. Very different. In Russia, they basically do. Okay, because Russia is like the fucking epicenter of the neo-Nazi femboy. It's like Russia and Poland are like the place that the overlap happens most, you know? Croatia, yeah. I have no idea why Poland's viewed that way. We barely have any femboys. It's an archetype. The Polish femboy, that's an archetype, you know? That's an archetype for sure. 100%. Again, worth noting that these people, they're not out there in, like, real life. You know, Vaush supporter, why is the sub so liberal? Vaush promised to fix up the Discord and subreddit last year, but never did. Not true! I spent a bunch of time like drawing up new rules for the Discord. I had multiple big talks with the mod team. The Discord had a hell lot, and the subreddit also has undergone multiple purges. Look, if you want to fight back against the liberal scourge, you need to advocate for your positions. But, and I got to be clear about this, don't be an insufferable tryhard. If somebody in the sub is being a liberal, parentheses neg, don't oh, I gotta argue. Oh, I gotta battle. I'm battling for the soul of the community. Just fucking riff, man. Come on. Jesus Christ. It's like the debate culture. It still persists on Reddit. I don't understand it. Don't you get like embarrassed getting all worked up over this? Yeah, you know, I see liberals in chat sometimes. It happens. It's fine. What do you consider a liberal? Everyone but me. Shut up. Just don't take it too seriously, man. Sometimes, you guys. It's crazy.